This video is brought to you by Mubi. Get a whole month free at mubi.com/docinema. When someone brings up Nicolas Cage, the most common reaction people have is, oh, there's that weird guy. And to be honest, Nicolas Cage is a pretty eccentric guy, with some unique performances to say the least.
Not the beast! Not the beast! K-L-M-N-O-P Q-R-S-T-U-V-W-X-Y!
Nicolas Cage is one of the most memed actors out there. TikTok and Instagram are filled with countless Nicolas Cage memes, from parodies to tributes and compilation clips of him absolutely losing his mind. But even though he is an incredibly skilled actor who has worked with some of the best directors out there, Nicolas Cage is not universally loved and is often perceived as a joke due to these constant memes.
What are these f***ing iguanas doing on my coffee table?
Which made me question, why? So today, we're gonna dive into the weirdly brilliant and chaotic world of Nicolas Cage in an attempt to understand the man behind the memes.
Okay, let's run.
So, who is Nicolas Cage? Nicolas Cage was actually born as Nicholas Kim Coppola. That's because he is part of the highly esteemed Coppola entertainment family. His grandfather was composer Carmine Coppola, his uncle is director Francis Ford Coppola, and his cousin is actress and director Sofia Coppola. He didn't want people to blame his success on his family name, so he decided to pave his own path and changed his name early on in his career.
I changed my name because I was doing a little movie called Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and I was still Nicholas Coppola, and people would not stop saying things like, I love the smell of Nicholas in the morning because of Apocalypse Now, and Robert Duvall saying, I love the smell of napalm in the morning, and it made it hard to work, and I decided, I don't need this. So I changed it to Cage.
So inspired by Marvel hero Luke Cage and famed composer John Cage, he ditched the Coppola name and became Nicolas Cage. At the beginning of his career, Cage kinda got typecast as the unconventional but charismatic guy in various love stories, like in Valley Girl and Peggy Sue Got Married, but he later branched out across multiple genres, showing that he is a true chameleon of his craft. In 1995, he won his first and only Oscar with Leaving Las Vegas. He accepted the role knowing that nobody wanted to play a screenwriter with a drinking problem and simply saw it as a challenge. In the following years, he started specializing into the action and horror films that most of us will know him from, eventually becoming a household name for many popular film series and turning into one of Hollywood's highest paid actors. So, with his newfound wealth, the most logical thing for Nicolas Cage to do was to heavily splurge it on lavish purchases such as exotic animals, including 2 cobra snakes, an African crow,
Hi, Hoogan.
a black dragon, and outbidding Leonardo DiCaprio for a 70-million-year-old dinosaur skull.
When the Mongolian government said that they needed it back, I gave it to them, but I never got my money back. So somebody at the auction house should be in jail.
Not to mention his golden Lambo purchase inspired by the golden Ferrari from Fellini's movie Spirit of the Dead.
Have you driven this out here beyond the gates?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
It's safe to say Nicolas Cage is an extravagant man, both on and off screen, but despite his grand cinematic presence, the perception of Cage isn't always appreciated by audiences. His popularity has gone through many ups and downs, and there are not many actors out there whose internet reception has been so divided.
Wow. The plot thickens. Didn't even know you had a plot.
No kidding.
Which brings us to the memification of Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is an actor who loves to go just that little extra mile. When this man appears on screen, you know it's about to go down. Cage simply dominates every single scene he is in, no matter how small the role. That's why over the years his famous freakouts have received the term Cage Rage. But his over-the-top performances are not without thought. Cage describes his unique style of acting as nouveau shamanic, combining exaggerated physical movements and facial expressions of German expressionism with Japanese kabuki theater and practices from ancient shamans.
All actors really hail from the early medicine men and the shamans in the villages pre-Christianity, where they would put on masks and act out, and really they were probably pretty crazy, but they would go in and find answers to questions. Today you're called psychotic if you do that.
To quote Cage, you don't feel like you're acting, you feel like you're being.
Exciting, I'd love to be on set with you.
Yeah, thanks.
A great example of this method is his breakout role in Moonstruck, where he takes inspiration from a German expressionist classic.
There's a moment where I raise the wooden hand and I say, I lost my hand, I lost my bride. And I think I got that idea from watching Fritz Lang's Metropolis. I was inspired by a moment in that movie when the doctor ripped off the glove from his metallic hand, and he did that, and I wanted to be kind of German expressionistic.
Go big or go home has been a notion that has continued with Cage ever since. For his follow-up movie Vampire's Kiss, Nicolas Cage truly went all out. He carefully studied the vampire performance from the 1922 movie Nosferatu and added some Nicolas Cage sauce to it, which will get you something like this.
I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!
The New York Times felt the movie was both dominated and destroyed by Cage's erratic performance, and that's essentially the risk that Cage is taking. Overdoing a part to achieve a desired effect can be very tricky to pull off. The wackiness of his acting ended up resulting in people rolling their eyes at him, saying that his methods worked against him. However, the irony of this box office flop was that it later turned into a cult classic and eventually led to some of Cage's most memorable roles, like the action movies Face Off and Con Air. But all the memes don't seem to sit all that well with the actor himself. In his own words, "I didn't get into Hollywood to become a meme." Nicolas Cage is an actor who is greatly misunderstood by the Hollywood masses. He is either perceived as over the top or brilliant, but at the end of the day, all he wants is to perform. Unfortunately, due to his excessive spending habits and several real estate investments, he became a victim of the 2008 financial crisis, owing the IRS $14 million for federal income and property tax. Simultaneously, he had to deal with multiple failed marriages and a $20 million lawsuit against his former business manager, while also spending millions of dollars on his mother's fees for staying in an institution to treat her mental health condition. Instead of filing for bankruptcy, Nicolas Cage moved to Las Vegas and decided to lock in, sometimes doing 3 to 4 films a year. Cage stated, "Regardless of the caliber of the project, work was my guardian angel." This forced Nicolas Cage to act in some of the most low-budget action thrillers you can think of, receiving abysmal reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Cage's popularity began to suffer from this career shift, with many considering his status demoted to that of a B-list actor, and giving more fuel to the haters that he was always a bad actor. In 2023, he told The Guardian that he was potentially the first actor who went through a memification. He acknowledges that people were only putting the focus on the meltdown scenes without prior context. He said, "I was frustrated because I didn't know what people were taking from the movies other than that." But in the past few years, Nicolas Cage has been back on an upward trajectory of critical acclaim. His 2018 movie Mandy was a fantastic reintroduction of his talents, playing into the darkness and rage that became more subdued in previous characters. Not to mention his 2021 movie Pig, playing a reclusive truffle hunter on a mad search to find his stolen beloved pig, now considering the movie to be his favorite that he starred in.
I thought it was like a folk song. I thought it was like a haiku. I felt that in that movie I had become seasoned and I had entered the room.
In 2022, Nicolas Cage decided, let's embrace the meme and played a fictionalized version of himself in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, together with another meme icon, Pedro Pascal. In this movie, he plays 2 versions of himself. Nick Cage, a Hollywood actor that has fallen from grace, riddled with countless debts and fractured family relationships. And then there's Nicky Cage, a figment of his imagination that represents the traits of Cage's outrageous acting style. In a sense, this project was an artistic expression of his social media image. He says that taking on the role was a way of embracing what had happened to me. Ironically, the film has also fallen into meme territory, with Nick and Pedro's car scene birthing countless new memes. Cage knows he's playing into the meme narrative by playing himself, and that's just fine. This man's work is doing all the talking for his craft. And to top it all off, the 2023 movie Dream Scenario by A24 is sorta like Nicolas Cage meets Inception. He's playing a teacher who starts appearing as multiple versions of himself in people's dreams, kinda like the movie Being John Malkovich, where every actor becomes actor John Malkovich. Film critic Peter Bradshaw referred to the movie as Nicolas Cage has perhaps never been Nicolas Cageier in what could be his Nicolas Cageiest performance ever. Cage's goal has always been about his talent, doing things the Cage way. In a society that is so quick to judge others for being weird, Nicolas Cage justifies that it's cool to march to the beat of your own drum. When all is said and done, Nicolas Cage remains a legend and one of Hollywood's most iconic performers.
There are those folks that are probably thinking that the only good acting that I can do is the acting that I chose to do by design, which was more operatic and, larger than life and so-called cage rage and all that. But you're not going to get that every time.
While Nicolas Cage has some upcoming movie releases in 2025, he's not sure how much longer he'll be doing films. He said, I feel I've pretty much said what I've had to say with cinema. I think I have to do maybe 3 or 4 movies before I can get there, and then hopefully switch formats and go into some other way of expressing my acting. Whatever that may be, it's always a surprise with Nicolas Cage. You may not always like it, but you can't deny it. This man has got style, and style is here to stay. In the meantime, if you want to have a laugh or a cry, I highly recommend watching Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas and also Adaptation by Spike Jonze, which are currently streaming on Mubi. Not only in my country, the Netherlands, but in many other countries. Mubi is a curated streaming service dedicated to elevating great cinema from all around the globe. From iconic directors to emerging auteurs, there's always something new to discover. And the best thing is that they are all carefully handpicked by Mubi curators, allowing you to discover the best cinema at your fingertips, streaming anytime, anywhere.
We'll work anytime, anywhere. We work Jewish holidays? Anytime, anywhere.
You can try Mubi free for 30 days at mubi.com/docinema. That's mubi.com/docinema for an entire month of great cinema for free.